Thanks for joining us for today's News at Noon. I'm Drew Carney.
And I'm China Green. We begin with an update from Milwaukee, where a man was shot by police early this morning. He was taken to the hospital. We don't know his condition.
KGW's Ashley Graham's covered this story for us all morning. She has more after talking to witnesses, including a man who shot video of the scene with his phone.
After several hours of investigation, this Taco Bell parking lot in Milwaukee is back open. The only evidence of a shooting, shattered glass on the ground in the drive-thru.
Crime scene tape was strung across, and there were a couple of cops. Car was all shut up.
Milwaukee police say just before 1 in the morning, officers were conducting a traffic investigation.
Driver, put your hands on the dash. Do it now.
You can hear police in this video asking the driver to put their hands on the dash.
Listen, dude, put your hands out the window so we can help you.
Milwaukee police say at least one of their officers fired their gun, shooting the suspect.
I got a phone call from, I guess, the local PD, and they told me to lock the doors.
Brian Bike was working late at Sherry's across the parking lot.
I never experienced anything like that so close.
A sergeant from Milwaukee police says the man was taken to a local hospital and his condition is unknown. No officers were injured. The Clackamas County Major Crimes Team is investigating. In Milwaukee, I'm Ashley Grams, KGW News.
From Milwaukee, we go to Beaverton, where teachers staged what they called walk-ins today at several schools across the district. They described it as an act of solidarity as they collectively called for safer and more inclusive learning environments. Members of the Beaverton Education Association were joined by leaders from the National Education Association during these 30-minute walk-in sessions, all held before schools started this morning. Teachers said they want district administrators to take, quote, real action to keep students and educators safe in their classrooms.
The Boeing machinist strike is closing in on 3 full weeks, and for workers on the picket line, their health care benefits from the company expire today. The strike has already cost Boeing millions of dollars. The company and union met a federal mediator on Friday, but the union says talks, quote, broke off and no further meetings have been scheduled. Last Monday, Boeing put out its best and final offer, which included a 30% wage increase over 4 years, reinstated performance bonuses, and a ratification bonus.
At least 120 people in the southeast are confirmed dead from the devastating path of Hurricane Helene, a third of those people in North Carolina. On top of that, more than 100 other people are still missing this afternoon, and millions are without power across several different states. Floodwaters have kept some towns from getting needed supplies and other help, and communities are dealing with a lack of food, water, and fuel. Former President Donald Trump is visiting Georgia today, while Vice President Kamala Harris cut her latest campaign trip short to return to D.C. for a briefing on the federal response to Helene.
Meanwhile, volunteers from across the country, including some from Oregon, are in the southeast to help with the recovery efforts. Our Celine Stevens got a chance to speak with one of those volunteers who is already on the ground in Georgia.
They went through some terror, you know. It's really hard for everyone, for all the people from here, yeah.
Juan Rosas left Oregon Friday night to go to Georgia as a Red Cross volunteer, all to help victims of Hurricane Helene.
The stories that they've told me is that the wind was picking up their houses and slamming it back down like it was going to take it away.
So far, over 80 people have died from the impact of Helene, which hit Florida's Big Bend region as a Category 4 hurricane Thursday night. It also impacted many other states, including Georgia and the Carolinas. The American Red Cross says there's around 1,400 volunteers setting up shelters and staffing impacted areas, with 17 of them coming from Oregon and Southwest Washington.
They'll take bottled waters, they'll take food, they'll take cleanup kits, and they'll just go there and assess the damage to see how we can help.
Rebecca Marshall with the Red Cross says volunteers also help people with reunification as people are struggling to find one another in the chaos paired with the lack of electricity. Rosas says on Sunday, he and other volunteers helped a couple hundred people who were in need of essentials.
The 200 people that I think we fed came and got supplies, got food for home. And mind you, they don't have no power, they don't have no water. So we've been trying to give them whatever, you know, comes in, we give to the people that are here.
Another thing that Marshall says is needed now is blood.
We know that there's blood drives that are being canceled all over those 5 states. 1,500 units of blood have not been collected in the past 2 or 3 days just because of the storm. So that's blood that's needed.
Celine Stevens, KGW News.
Chris, I know the Helene path is something you've been tracking now for days, including what's happening there today in some of those southern states.
Yeah, and thankfully the storm raining itself out, of course, over the last couple of days, but the damage done and a lot of recovery needed to, a lot of recovery work ahead for those folks. Let's get you out the door and show you the live look right now from our Wells Fargo sky camera. 63 degrees, that feels pretty comfortable, right? We didn't start off that comfortable. This morning's low, PDX got all the way down to 44 this morning, the coldest temp since May 8th, 145 days, nearly 5 months. Unbelievable, right? Last time we were that cold, May 8th, 41 was the low back then. So it's been a while since we've been this chilly. 40 was low in Hillsborough. Vancouver got down to 41, as did McMinnville. Again, some of these temperatures are the coldest that the region has seen in 4 to 5 months. So a very chilly start to the day, but a nice reward with a sunny and mild finish. We've got sunshine out there wall to wall statewide pretty much here. This is the visible satellite imagery over the last several hours, and there's just not much going on today. So bright sun and temperatures slowly warming up. We're up to 66 now in Hillsborough, 66 also in Tigard, Salem sitting at 65. And the plan for the remainder of the day has us inching into the 70s. I might have to shave my forecast high down a little bit, but 73 or 74 still looks pretty good, and that is still a smidge above average for the final day of September. So what does October look like? I'm glad you asked. I will show you that forecast coming up after the break.
All right, Chris, we'll check back in here in a few minutes. Right now, we want to take a look at some of this afternoon's national headlines, starting in Montana, where a man is being sentenced today for illegally cloning sheep.
The 81-year-old is accused of creating the animals for use in trophy hunting. So Arthur Jack Schubarth took tissue from a large breed of sheep found in Asia and created a hybrid sheep he called the Montana Mountain King. He pleaded guilty to federal wildlife trafficking charges and can face up to $250,000 in fines, but will not face prison time. Court documents also congratulated him for successfully cloning the endangered sheep, saying, quote, "Jack did something no one else could or has ever done."
The Department of Justice reached a $22.6 million settlement with 34 women who allege they were wrongfully dismissed from the FBI's agent training program because of gender discrimination. In addition to the money, the settlement allows some of them to seek reinstatement to the FBI's new agent training program. Also, officials in Georgia say a massive fire at a chemical plant is under control this afternoon. This fire at the biolab facility started early yesterday and has placed nearly 100,000 people under a shelter-in-place order. Residents still being advised to stay indoors and keep their windows closed to minimize exposure. Officials say this plume of smoke in the video we're showing you right here continues to rise because water from sprinklers at the facility are reacting with chemicals at the site.
The SpaceX capsule that's scheduled to bring home 2 stuck astronauts arrived at the International Space Station yesterday. It will be used in February to bring home the 2 Boeing Starliner astronauts who have been stuck there since June when their Boeing capsule had mechanical problems. And those are your national headlines.